know, this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability,
When
statistics.
I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
Vaccines, okay? I don't want to, like, poke the bear here.
Here we go.
But what I'm saying is,
the bear believes in vaccines, just being skeptical of all medical interventions, as everyone should.
well, except 99 out of 100 medical interventions, you're not saying I need a second opinion. If you have tuberculosis.
What? That's not even true. In fact, you're supposed to get a second opinion. That's called being scientific. What is he even talking about? 99%? If your doctor gives you a diagnosis, really 99% of the time, you're just going to go with that?
You don't need a second opinion. If you have polyps in your colon,
it's not close to 99%.
It's easily 99%.
It is not.
If you break a femur, you don't get a second opinion on that.
I agree, but that's not...
Yeah, but that's a diagnosis. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't get a second opinion on what the best solution is. For instance, I have a hiatal hernia, and I had one doctor telling me that I should get surgery to get it tied, and then another doctor, a second opinion, told me, no, just wait it out. You've only had it for a couple of months. Let's see if the symptoms improve. And guess what? It's been 2 years. The symptoms have improved. So thank God I went and got that second opinion. Doing my due diligence, that was me acting scientifically.
Most things that happen to people, lots of things that happen to people, and I'm thrilled that you don't ever have this happen in your life, but and I hope you never do. But trust me, most people at a certain point in their life will need a second opinion.
The second opinion, yes, but that's after you've been through 99 other. I'm trying to put credit back to.
What is he trying to say? That's after you've been through 99 other what? Put down in the comments. Let me know if you've gotten a second opinion medically, and if the second opinion ended up being the better option, or even the third opinion ended up being that better option. Medicine is complicated. Neil should know this, but he's not a doctor, so he probably doesn't understand.
Doctors, where our life expectancy is 3 times what it was 150 years ago. And everyone...
This is not true. This is false. 100% false. Life expectancy in 1874 was 42.6 years for males, versus today is 77.5 years. I'm not a mathematician, but I know enough math to know that that is not even double, let alone 3 times as much. Second, the reason life expectancy was so low was the high infant mortality rates. That attributed for most, if you survived infancy, then you would end up living much longer. So that statistic is misleading, and as a scientist, Neil deGrasse Tyson should know better than that. Carl Sagan must be getting dizzy at this point because he's been spinning on his grave for the last 5 years, ever since Neil deGrasse Tyson started to open his mouth about the pandemic, even though Neil deGrasse Tyson is not an infectious disease expert. And let's not forget that infectious disease experts and biologists have had opinions in the last 5 years that have been silenced. The mistrust in the medical institutions lies squarely at the feet of the medical institutions themselves. They are the one that created this mistrust, and to blame it on the people who are just witnessing it and observing it and the populace is completely asinine.
Before 150 years ago,
but lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35.
Yeah,
science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well,
I don't know what Neil was trying to do there, but the implication is that eating organic isn't somehow healthier than eating non-organic. And if he was a nutritionist, like most nutritionists say, eating organic is much healthier than non-organic. Is it more expensive? Yes, but nobody's making the claim that it's not more expensive. And nobody is saying that people that can't afford non-organic food shouldn't be eating non-organic food. But eating organic is a healthier option. Before I continue this debate, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is my 10th year on YouTube, and I would really appreciate getting me over that finish line by Christmas. Thank you very much, and let's continue.
Actually, you're the guy... You're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to be the scientist.
I think he meant to say the WNBA team.
And you couldn't even admit that. And as far as medicine goes, I could talk to you this about all day, but again, we do have a party to get to. But you know, this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability,
when
statistics.
I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
No, don't call me. But when it's time to assess risk.
God damn, it feels so good for somebody to put Neil in his place, to his face.
That's something that comes out of the world of probability and statistics, and scientists are trained in that. And so there's a documentary on PBS.org right now that talks about what it means to accept a risk, or to, like in a vaccine, if you don't want to get a vaccine, that's like walking around with a baseball bat, fine. But if you hit someone with it, that's bad. There's a social contract.
Excuse me, that's not scientific at all. That has to be one of the worst analogies I've ever heard as far as vaccines go. Firstly, as a scientist, Neil, you shouldn't be using analogies because it's not scientific to be using analogies like that. So you should be embarrassed. Secondly, I can go outside and swing a baseball bat around and it's not going to affect anybody. But since you like using analogies, here's an analogy. I'm swinging around a tennis racket. And somebody comes up to me and says, stop swinging that tennis racket. And I say, you know what? This isn't a tennis racket. It's actually a baseball bat. That's what happened with vaccines. The definitions of vaccines were changed during the pandemic. Call me crazy, but when you put a new type of medicine that's untested out, and then you need to change the definition of what a vaccine is, and then you're going to use the argument from, because the majority of people are pro-vaccine. Yeah, sure, but you changed the definition to vaccines, and so now people have every right to question and get a second opinion on this new medicine that you are providing for people. CDC definitions of vaccine and vaccination before September 1st, a product that stimulates the person's immune system to produce immunity to a specific disease, protecting the person from that disease. Vaccination, the act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce immunity. Down here, CDC definition of the vaccine after September 1st, a preparation that is used to stimulate the body's immune response against diseases. The act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce protection from a specific disease. They changed the definition of what a vaccine was specifically for this mRNA vaccine for COVID. If you think that that's not going to hurt, trust in the establishment and medicine and the industrial science complex, then you are out of your mind. Thanks again for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed that video, please share it with your friends and your family. And again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get us over that finish line. Thank you very much. Have a good night. We'll see you in the next one.